Aloha, I'm Malia Zimmerman, and this is News Behind the News. Today, I'm going to tell you about a new organization that's we're welcoming to Hawaii, and the head of the organization, Tito Montes, is here. He's the president of the Hawaii Republican Assembly, and in Hawaii, we know we have mostly Democrats in our office, but now we have a different side of the story, and Tito's here to tell us about his organization and what they represent and how you can get involved. Welcome to the shore.
Thank you.
So tell us about your organization. It's the Hawaii Republican Assembly.
That's right. We're the Hawaii Republican Assembly. We formed here in Hawaii in 2009. We were actually the seminal members that joined into the Tea Party movement. So we helped to organize the Tea Parties at the Capitol back in 2009, 2010, and 2011. And we've been moving along, kind of slowly, but just this year we've kind of gotten revitalized with everything that's been going on nationally and here locally. So we are a partisan, conservative organization here working vigorously in the islands with a bunch of volunteers to actively, openly, and fearlessly promote conservative principles and policy solutions here in the islands.
Now, we have a Hawaii Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
So why would we need a Hawaii Republican Assembly? What's the difference?
Well, there is no difference because all of our members are Republican Party members. Maybe if there is a difference, it's because we are truly conservative. We don't like to think of ourselves as governing from the center or trying to find middle ground. We're there to give conservatives here on the islands a strong voice and a home that they can go to where people are going to be their advocates to get those conservative policy solutions here in the islands.
So the Republican Party, because you do have actually kind of some more liberal candidates that run, for example, like Linda Lingle was more of a liberal Republican, and some of the other more prominent ones, maybe Charles Ajou was considered a centrist, and the longer they were in office, the more to the middle they became. And they felt that, when I've talked to them, that's, first of all, I think Governor Lingle was actually that way, but some of the other candidates have said, well, we need to be that way to get elected in Hawaii. What's your thought on that?
Well, I think that's a failing proposition, and I think Governor Lingle and Charles Ajou found that out, in 2012. The other thing is that, you can't compromise principles, and you can't compromise those Republican values that brought us here and that defines the party. So I think that's where they had most of their trouble. The other thing that I have a really big problem with is that, if Republicans start moving to the center and you start voting and looking more and more like Democrats, you don't present a choice to the people. What's there to differentiate yourself? The big thing that we have to present to people in Hawaii and what they're really lacking now is a choice, and they don't have that.
Right. So in terms of issues, you're conservative on all the issues, and that means everything from fiscal policy to social policy. So talk a little bit about maybe, I know one of the big issues is smaller government and less taxes being spent. And in Hawaii, we're the complete opposite. We have a huge government, and we're almost the highest tax state in the nation. Yep. We're the highest cost of living, highest cost of doing business. We're rated the worst business climate in the nation. And we could go on and on and on with all the fiscal problems.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're the one quoting the statistics, because I was told that, when Republicans quote statistics, everybody just falls asleep. So thank you for doing that for me. But it's true. Everything you said is absolutely true. And the trend is not reversing at all. And one of the first things that the Hawaii Republican Assembly did that took action this year was we let people know, hey, this biennial budget that they just passed is not fiscally conservative. And one of the things that we were most disappointing about was that the 7 House Republicans, promoted this budget as fiscally conservative when it is completely not. Now, you just said, well, we are concerned about things like limited government, lowering taxes. Well, if you looked at that budget, an increase of $2 billion, a lot of people don't understand. That $2 billion, that's how much our city government runs on an annual basis. That's not chump change. And when you talk about, debt, I mean, come on, $39,000 per person roughly on the islands, and if you talk about just people who are wage earners, not every single person like children and elderly, it's in the $60-something thousand per person in debt. $39 billion total. So yeah, that was one of the things that upset us the most. So we did a lot of messaging, and we put a video out there. You can get it on our website later on when we talk about it. That shows that, yeah, that budget was not fiscally conservative. So fiscal issues are at the forefront of what are the issues that we're going to tackle.
So one of the things I hear you saying is that when Republicans necessarily don't act like Republicans, or they don't stick to the message of the importance of lower taxes, limited government, that your organization is going to call them on it.
Absolutely. One of the missions of the Hawaii Republican Assembly And let me just backtrack a little bit, okay? The Hawaii Republican Assembly started back in 1932, okay? And President Ronald Reagan called us the conscience of the party, okay? And that's what we're supposed to do. We are here to look at who's conservative and who's not. And one of the big things and advantages that we have over the Hawaii Republican Party is that we are partisan and we can support candidates, Republican candidates during primaries. So that's one of our missions, and definitely those politicians who are in office, we definitely want to keep them and hold them accountable year after year. Just kind of like the Heritage Foundation or a lot of the think tanks do when they give their legislative scorecards. You know, we're going to keep track of how these Republicans vote and what they stand for, so we can hold them accountable.
So it was the Republican Assembly that's been around since 1932, but not there. But it's new in Hawaii, right?
Well, we're going on 4 years old.
4 years old, yeah. And now you're kind of but doing a big renewed kickoff in terms of you just had Rusty Humphreys here.
We did. Oh my gosh, that was an amazing event. We sold out, had way over 100 people stuffed into the Waialae Country Club. We almost, we were afraid at one point we might have to turn people away. But we did a great job. Rusty Humphreys came out on his own dime, didn't charge us a nickel, and he was very impressed, and he felt that this was a very good thing for him to do. Everybody enjoyed it. It was a great time, and we came out in the black on it. So we're looking to do that again sometime in the future.
And Rusty Humphreys, just for people that might not follow it, he's one of the top 10 talk show hosts in the nation.
He is. He's a nationally syndicated radio talk show host. I think he's over 300 stations nationwide. Has a huge audience, and very funny guy. Does a great job in telling people what the issues are, but doing it in a very entertaining way.
Yes, you can see why he's so popular on the radio. Yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun hearing him and enjoying his company. So back to some of the issues that you might be covering or watching at the legislature. We have taxes, and you know, like you said, the budget for the 2-year biennium budget is $24 billion, and our taxes and our fees continue to go up. Last year, the Republicans in the House were trying to say, well, some of the really big tax increases didn't go through, and that's why they're saying it's conservative. But the problem with that is the little things get through, the fees, and they keep going up and up and up every year. And then the big taxes do get through. The last big tax increase we had, unfortunately, was under Governor Lingle, when she let the rail tax go through, the tax, the 0.5% GE tax.
Another bipartisan failure.
Right. So there's, on Oahu, we pay the most taxes of all, and we're more and more people are struggling. I just did a story recently about that, and how just in our city alone, how many homeless people we have, and how many people have to work 2 and 3 jobs.
Drowning in a crystal sea of debt.
Right.
Yeah, very good article.
Thanks. Yeah. So basically, all these, all the people, I mean, it really is important to pay attention to what the legislature's doing.
Well, one of the things that's important is because we want to get out there and we want to educate the voters out there. Now, I'm from Ewa Beach, and Ewa Beach has been one of the most hardest hit sections of Oahu. I mean, there are so many properties out there that are at risk, meaning that they're either risk of short sale or foreclosure or have been foreclosed. I myself know many people who are hurting right now. I serve on a couple of boards at my parish in Ewa Beach, and we look at the monetary donations every week. They just keep going down and down and down. And the personal stories of these people out here is that they want to work. They're eager to work, but they're part-time job this, part-time job that. Oh, my job's ending in 2 weeks, I got to find another one. And they have children, and the mother has to work, and there are so many systemic bad, deleterious problems that people don't see and can't see in the papers, and all the stress that living that way has, and that's what the Hawaii economy has become. When I was running for office back in 2010 for State Senate in Senate District 20 out there in Ewa Beach, my opponent at the time was saying, oh yeah, we're getting Target, we're getting Starbucks, we're getting all this. And I said, is that the message you want to send to your people out here, that only those large super corporations are the only businesses out here in Hawaii who can, float all that expense and still stay in business? So, all of our kids that graduate high school and college, the best thing you're telling them that they can do is, work at Starbucks or retail or something like that. There's no business expansion here, and you said it yourself. Our business climate is terrible. It's like 49th in the state. The business scorecard, it's D's and F's across the board. So all of those hidden fees, all of those taxes, the health insurance that companies have to pay now to employees, all of these socialistic problems that they're heaping on the business, what do you think is going to happen? People are either going to close down, they're going to hire people part-time to save cost, or they're not going to go into business altogether.
Well, I remember Steve Forbes came out here and he gave a speech for the Smart Business Hawaii event one year. And afterward, he had an article written in his magazine that said that doing business in Hawaii was equivalent to committing suicide. So you can imagine we've gotten terrible national recognition. And so when people say, oh, investment capital flies over Hawaii because it goes to Asia, but it goes to the mainland, unfortunately, a lot of people are afraid to stop here because they see that it's such a poor business climate. So we could definitely do a lot better. And the legislature has not done its job there.
The legislature has not done its job, and one of the things about the Republican Assembly and Republicans in general, and all conservatives really, is that you have a general, honest faith and belief in the American people. I have more faith in people who want to go out there and pursue their own dream, that I'm going to get a better product at a lower cost than anything that the government can ever do. And unfortunately, Democrats don't feel that way.
Now, some of the other issues that you take on besides limited government and lower taxes and a better economy, trying to create a better economy through smarter policy and more pro-business policy, you take on social issues as well. So tell us a little bit about that. What are your top issues that you stand up for or that you believe in as a social conservative?
Right. Well, the biggest thing right now, of course, with local politics and things going on nationally, was the DOMA decision that came out from the Supreme Court on June 26th.
So for people that don't know what the DOMA decision is.
Right, that's the Defense of Marriage Act. The Supreme Court, on a vote 5-4, simplistically just made it a state's issue, basically saying that the federal government has no license in defining that marriage be between one man and one woman. So there's been a very strong push here in Hawaii all of a sudden to legalize gay marriage here, like right away. They're pushing for a special session. So what I would do is I would invite people to go to our website, www.hawaiirepublicanassembly.com, and we have posted on there the last 3 red alert emails that we've been sending out to people in our messaging to tell them why this is a bad idea.
Great. Well, the website's up there right now, and we can see you along with Rusty Humphreys and Senator Sam Sloan, who's also been a guest on this show. So people can go there and get the information on the other side of the story, because a lot of times in the media we hear about same-sex marriage and why it would be positive, because that's kind of the typical liberal media's viewpoint. But people do have other opinions, and in Hawaii, I know some of the legislators have been saying, well, why don't we put it out to a vote? Because even in the legislature, we do have, already we have civil unions in Hawaii.
That's right.
So that went through really easily, but there are even concerns among Democrats who are more social conservative about legalizing marriage.
Right, and
same-sex marriage.
And those Democrats who are standing firm on that are coming under some very serious attack from the gay lobbyists that are going to the Capitol, almost on a daily basis. So yeah, they're coming under attack, and it's a lot of bullying. If you believe in traditional marriage, you automatically get cast into a light of very, very negative things. I don't even want to say them here on the show. But there is another side, and we're out here to tell people that if you believe in traditional marriage, you believe that marriage is perpetually defined as between one man and one woman, you do have an advocate out there, you do have people out there fighting for you, and that's what we're doing. So we would love to have their assistance and join in and help us out in any way we can, because it's going to take, just like anything else in politics, it takes people, it takes money, it's a numbers game.
So we'll have to see what happens, but in the past, so a long, long time ago, when I think it was, I can't remember the year.
1998.
1998, right?
Constitutional amendment here in Hawaii, yeah.
People voted to
69% of the people here in Hawaii voted to keep the definition of marriage as one man and one woman.
So it'd be interesting if we took a vote today. I mean, I know times are changing and people's minds are changing on some things, but I don't know about that.
Well, just that right there, times are changing, I don't think so. I think that's a meme and a falsification that the liberal media is putting out there. No, times aren't changing. If you go to the Heritage Foundation, they have a great chart, and we just put it out in an e-blast that went out today, that shows that traditional marriage values is strong across the nation. If you look at a lot of the states who went ahead and defined marriage as one man and one woman, so many of those votes passed from margins anywhere between 80% all the way down to like 52%. the three states, Maryland, Maine, and Washington, D.C., and there was another state. Well, anyway, they only passed by 51 and 52%. So the margins where states did pass same-sex marriage or gay marriage or whatever were much smaller margins. So there isn't this seismic shift that's going on. Many more people still think that marriage should be defined as one man and one woman, and you don't want to go down that slippery slope of redefining that.
So another big issue that will come up, or that does come up, tend to come up, and I'm not sure how your position is on it, but there's physician-assisted suicide, there's gambling, that kind of thing. Are you going to be taking positions on those issues?
Oh, absolutely. Our treasurer, Mike Pausick, just wrote a great article for you discussing physician-assisted suicide, and we think it's terrible. Again, you are using people as commodities, especially when you look at it from a healthcare issue for the government. You know, it's a problem of socialism and trying to make people equivalent to dollars. So yeah, we're definitely against that. Gambling, the same thing. Gambling, the Hawaii Republican Assembly does not support gambling here in Hawaii. Again, so many deleterious influences that come along with that, and people in Hawaii who are struggling paycheck to paycheck, don't know if they're going to be homeless one day, or 1 week from the other. Are they really going to have that temptation of, either casinos or slot machines or scratch-offs come here to Hawaii? Just another way to siphon off money from people who can't afford to lose it already.
Just so people know that don't follow this issue, Hawaii is one of only 2 states in the nation that does not have legalized gambling. And the other one is Utah. But there is always a push every legislative session to get either one casino in Waikiki or offshore gambling legalized, or a lottery.
Yeah.
All these different things.
I can say from personal experience, Malia, that I watched my maternal grandmother flush thousands of dollars a week down on pick 3s, straight and box, pick 4, straight and box. I've seen too many personal examples of the pain, and it's addictive. I mean, you are now putting another drug out there on the street for people who are in a hopeless situation here in Hawaii. To give them hope, it's so bad. No way.
We already, at Hawaii Reporter, we did this undercover investigation into the illegal gambling that goes on here, and there's quite a bit in the Asian community, especially from Asia, the people from Asia.
Yeah.
It's just part of their lifestyle. They're just addicted to it, and they do lose so much money. So I can imagine if,
I have an interesting story about that. Back in 2010 out in Eva Beach, myself and another conservative candidate, we were out there campaigning in Eva Villages, and if you've ever been out there, when you go down Renton Road, and you start going more towards Kapolei, to west side, you cross Kapolei Parkway, and you start going into an area where it's kind of farmy and stuff like that. So we were back there campaigning, going door to door, giving people flyers, and there were some guys back at a table, and we just walked back there. We didn't know what was going on, and it was illegal gambling. I mean, there were thousands of dollars on the table, and we're like, hey guys, we're just here, have our flyer, see you later. So yeah, that stuff goes on, and that's not good either. And luckily, nothing happened, when we approached those guys, because they looked spooked, and here we are, we're dressed like this, right, going door to door, trying to look professional. So it was very interesting.
Yeah, they little did they know you were not there to rob them, but you did want to become their elected official, right?
That's right.
I know, you have to watch out.
We made that point really clear and really fast.
Yeah, that's good. And then book out of there, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, so the next election's coming up, 2014. That's going to be a big year for Hawaii, because there's a challenge in the Senate, the U.S. Senate, with right now 2 Democrat candidates, Colleen Hanabusa and Brian Schatz, and Brian Schatz being the current senator.
Yep.
Colleen Hanabusa being the congressional congresswoman who's challenging the senator. And also we have the congressional seat opening up. But so far, and then of course there's all the House members, I can't forget to mention them, all the state House members, plus some of the senators, about half of the senators. So and really we don't hear about the Republicans putting up candidates. And is that something that you're going to help with?
That is a definite concern of ours. We don't know, especially for the big, top of the ticket seats, we're not really sure who's going to step up to those right now. But that is going to be a mission of the Hawaii Republican Assembly in the future, is for candidate recruitment. Not sure if we're going to get there in 2014, but definitely after that.
I guess some of the, people in Hawaii, they just think, oh, Hawaii is just all Democrat, and we see fewer and fewer Republicans over the years. We've seen fewer in the House.
Yep.
And how do you feel about that? I mean, in terms of how do you see Republicans being able to kind of get their message out and explain what it is they stand for, and a lot of times we see Republicans standing for different things, so it's a little confusing.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with Republicans here in Hawaii. Many conservatives, many Republicans out there, they've just given up. And that's part of what HIRA's mission is going to be, is to get these people revitalized and get them back. But the real reason why a lot of these people have left is because the Republican Party has had no message. So there's nothing wrong with the party in and of itself. There's nothing wrong with Republican people out here. And it's the same thing for Republican candidates. They have no message to grab onto. And that's been, I think, the major fault of the party right now, is that they've been messageless. They haven't been going out there 24/7 trying to educate voters, trying to differentiate themselves from Democrats, trying to educate voters on the failings of these Democrat and liberal policies that have been with us for 50 years now. So that is a major problem, and that is what we're here to do, to try and fix. And we're going to do it, like I said, actively, openly, aggressively, and fearlessly. We take great pride in our conservative principles. There's nothing to be ashamed of or scared of. And we're going to go out there and do it vigorously.
You know, I, of course, have not been a member of either party, but many people I talk to in both parties say they really just think we need a balance in the legislature, or at least a balance in Hawaii, more of a balance, because right now you have the really liberal faction of the Democratic Party and then the moderate, more conservative faction of the Democratic Party, and then you really have the Republicans being such a small force out there. So, you know, I think that the whole legislature could balance be a lot better. I mean, look, we have Senator Sam Sloan. He's the only Republican in the Senate, and we're the only place in the whole country that has just one Republican in one house, in one. You know, as the sole member of one house. Yeah. I don't think that we're the only, we're unique.
We took that distinction in 2012. Rhode Island used to be the most unbalanced state legislature in the country, and now Hawaii has taken it. And yeah, I mean, we got to give credit to Senator Sloan for standing strong in the Senate. You know, there's a funny quote. I don't know if you ever heard of a Marine Corps general. His name was Chesty Puller. In Korea, you know, one of his men came to him and said, you know, General, we're surrounded. He said, we're surrounded? Well, that simplifies the problem, you know, and that's what I think of when I think of Sam Sloan, you know, and he's been so steady and rock solid in that position. And you're right, back in the late 90s, we had, you know, 20-something Republican House members. We had like 7 or 8 Republican senators in the Senate, and it's just gone downhill from there. And I think a lot of that strongly has been the weakening of the message and this movement to the center under this false theory that somehow if you know, kumbaya and shake hands and hug rather than duke it out, it gets you votes, and it sure doesn't. So we're going to test the alternate hypothesis here coming up.
Well, I wanted people to get to know you a little bit about you, because you're heading up this organization, Hawaii Republican Assembly. Tell us about your background and maybe a little bit about your family.
Okay, I come from Asbury Park, New Jersey. Okay, Bruce Springsteen is not from Asbury Park. He's from Freehold, so I want to just stomp that in the ground right away. Okay, I don't like Bruce Springsteen anyway. You can guess why. But I came to Hawaii back in 1994. I was serving on the USS Chosin as a naval officer on there. We were stationed here for 4 years. Went back, you know, did some tours all around the world. You know, finished my naval service. Worked in D.C. as a civilian for a little while, and then when we first had the chance to come back here to Hawaii, we jumped on it because we love Hawaii so much. And we've lived here now for just going on 5 years. We came back in 2008. So I'm married for 18 years. We have 3 daughters who are 13, 11, and 5. So that's, you know, a challenge in and of itself. So.
Because you're the only guy in the house.
So Malia, you're not invited. Okay, Sam's invited over. Okay, you got to stay. There's too many girls in the house. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that's the joy and the pride of my life, and it's because of those kids and those girls that I'm doing this. So it's all for those guys. But really, also, like I said, I'm a naval officer, retired, 24 years. I now work for a small scientific consulting company. I do operations research, and we contract our services to the Commander of Pacific Fleet. And in a long, you know, story short, basically we help the Admiral just make decisions. I'll just leave it at that. So that's kind of my background on the private side. On the public side, like I alluded to earlier, I did run for state senate out there in Ewa Beach in 2010. And I have served on the Honolulu Reapportionment Commission there in 2011. And I serve on a couple other boards in my parish and in the community.
That's great. Well, in terms of your plans for the future, you're not going to be running for office coming up in this next election, but
No.
you will be helping other candidates. Is that right?
That's right. The Hawaii Republican Assembly is my focus, outside of professional and family business. So yeah, there's no public side of me in the 2014 range anyway.
So you're looking for more people to get involved in your organization, and what would people be doing if they did get involved, and how can they get involved?
Okay, well, the first thing you can do, you can join up online. Very easy to do. Like I said, www.hawaiirepublicanassembly.com. It's all one word. You can go on there and join. You can contribute if you want to. The other thing is that we're going to have our members be active and organized. And one of the things that the party is not doing is getting precincts and districts organized and getting conservatives out there in strong amounts of numbers. And the other thing is to get these conservatives out there to show up to the caucuses, become delegates, and get active inside the party politics as well.
Great. And then will you be kind of participating in the legislature or watching the process closely next year?
Oh, absolutely. We, the members that we already have a staff of people who track the legislature and what they're doing for both local, and then of course we have people looking at national issues as well.
Great. Okay. So what do you think your top issues will be coming up in the next, we only have about a little bit more than a minute left, but what do you think will be the top issues coming up for you to be focused on?
Well, it's going to be fiscal, social when it comes to same-sex marriage and abortion, and of course Second Amendment rights is a definite big thing of ours.
Yeah, tell us about the Second Amendment right issue, because in Hawaii we have one of the strictest laws in the nation.
Absolutely.
We have we've done shows on this here, but we have the, instead of being a shall issue state where it means that the police chiefs have to issue you a right to carry, concealed carry permit, it's a may issue, and they can decide if they want to, and they don't in Hawaii. We don't get to carry firearms here. They just decide not to let you carry them. And so we do have some of the strictest laws, and it's very difficult here. Luckily, we have low crime, but then any crime that's committed to you is committed to you. It would be nice to be able to defend yourself.
Well, I just had a friend last night, was in an Eva Beach 7-Eleven during a stick-up. Actually, we had a meeting scheduled last night, and we couldn't meet because he had to go give witness statements and everything. Yeah, just more bureaucracy, everything else to hurt the gun owner, all smoke and mirrors, doesn't do anything else to protect you.
Right, it's really difficult, even just the lines waiting in line to get, so many times, I think it's 3 times just to get the permission to have a handgun in your home.
Yeah, when I moved back here in 2008 and I shipped my firearm here, it was about a month process, and I had to take time off of work, I mean a whole bunch of stuff, just to be able to get my own firearm back in my house.
And sometimes people wait in line for 8 hours at a time, and they have to do that 3 times in a row. It's quite stunning.
It's very busy.
Well, anyway, we'll look forward to having you on the show again, and thanks for coming on today and sharing more about the Hawaii Republican Assembly. We'll have people go to your website, and hopefully they'll sign up and get involved with your group.
Thanks, Malia. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show. This has been News Behind the News. Aloha.